Did you know that Fallout 3 has a discreet bookstore full of interesting items? Or a grocery store that's been turned into a complex Rube Goldberg machine? Or maybe even a secret room where the devs put a bunch of strange assets they created but didn't want to include it into the rest of the game because it was so weird. This is all of Fallout 3's unmarked locations. Well, sort of. I decided not to include areas that you guys seem to dislike. That includes buildings with unique signs and other minor locales. Other than that, we're going to be diving into every unmarked location in the game. Also, I just wanted to quickly say thank you guys for subbing. We just recently hit 10,000 subs and we're super grateful. Plus, it seems like more people are subbing when watching the videos. I mean, it's still like 80% unsubbed, but we'll take the wins where we get them. And maybe if you're one of the 80%, consider subbing. It's good on the soul, I hear. If you guys like videos similar to this, then we have a lot for you on the channel, including all of New Vegas's unmarked locations and Fallout 4. If you're not new, then you may have seen this vid before. I've included it in the larger video to keep everything nice and tidy. So if you want to skip that, then skip ahead to here. Once again, thank you guys for watching and enjoy. A Cup of Joe was your go-to spot for a pre-apocalypse caffeine fix in the US. They had shops scattered across the Capital Wasteland, Washington DC, and even Point Lookout. But don't get your hopes up for a nostalgic brew. Every location is boarded up tight, so you have to settle for admiring the old signs. You can find one northwest of El Infant South Metro, and fun fact, you can find a sign tucked away in Michelangelo's workshop on the New Vegas Strip. The abandoned camp in Fallout 3 is a hidden gem under a bridge, just north of the Super Duper Mart. It's surrounded by tires, offering a bed, an ammo box, and a table with a duck and cover skill book. But watch your step, there's a frag mine at the entrance ready to ruin your day. Mirelurks crash the party every 3 in-game days, so don't get too cozy.
The abandoned tent in Fallout 3 is a cozy little hideaway in the Capital Wasteland, tucked between Mason-Dixon Salvage and the MDPL-21 power station. Inside, you'll find a bed, a footlocker, and a shelf stocked with goodies like Nikola Tesla and U-Book and a Nuka-Cola Quantum. The tent might not have much security, but it makes a decent makeshift home if you need a break from the wasteland's chaos. Just look out for a nearby shack. It's hiding a shish kebab schematic and another Nuka-Cola Quantum. Quick little sidebar. We were going to add the alien crash site, but after the Mothership Zeta DLC, Bethesda added a map marker to the site, making this in fact a marked location. But here's a little shout out. The Anacostia River in Fallout 3 is a small but significant waterway snaking through the Capital Wasteland. Named after the Anacostia Native Americans back in 1608, it serves as a tributary of the Potomac River. The river stretches from just across the Maryland border, flowing southwest into Washington, D.C., where it meets the Potomac near the Jefferson Memorial. Along its banks, you'll find Rivet City, one of the key locations in the game, making this river more than just a scenic backdrop in the post-apocalyptic world.
The Arlington Sewer in Fallout 3 is an unmarked, grimy underground spot in the Capital Wasteland, just southeast of Arlington Library. It's a 3-level maze filled with raiders who'd love nothing more than to ambush you. The bottom level holds a locked storage room packed with loot, including a safe, an armor crate, and ammo boxes, all accessible via a terminal. Outside, a nearby Talon Company recon camp offers a stealth boy if you're up for some extra scavenging. Despite the raiders' presence, the sewer remains oddly pristine, no graffiti or hanging bodies, just some fallen shelves and boxes. Raiders respawn every 3 days, so you might want to make this a regular stop on your wasteland rounds. Banks in Fallout are relics of pre-war financial life, scattered across the Capital Wasteland, Point Lookout, the Commonwealth, and Appalachia. These once bustling institutions were all about handling your money, from deposits to loans. In Fallout 3, you'll find 5 banks in DC, but don't expect to cash any checks, they're all boarded up with no interiors once again. Notable spots include a blue sign bank in the Mason District South, a green sign one by the Park and Mason District, a red sign bank in Tacoma Park and Pennsylvania Avenue, and of course the standout is the Burnside Bank and Loan in the DuPont Circle, with its rusted sign and a haunting reminder of a bygone era.
The Banister Crater in Fallout 3 is an unmarked hotspot of radiation and danger in the Capital Wasteland, located just east of Fort Banister. This blasted landscape is littered with smaller craters, but the real action is in the largest one, where you'll find an overturned military truck hiding a safe, a personal footlocker, and a stash of Radaway. Post Waters of Life, the Enclave moves in, setting up shop with soldiers, a turret, and a scientist poking around the truck. If you're lucky, you might even score a Fat Man and Mini Nuke from one of the Enclave soldiers, along with 96 alien power cells tucked beneath the truck. Just watch out for the rad scorpions, they love the place too. Bezik's barbershop in Fallout 3 is a relic of pre-war grooming, tucked away in the ruins of Ellenfont district in the Capital Wasteland. Once a bustling barbershop, it's now inaccessible, sealed off amid the destruction of Washington, D.C., located across from the Ellenfont Cafe and next to Madame Giel's. The exterior of Bezik's is still a bit treacherous, with a trapped pipe ready to spring if you trip the nearby wire. It's a slice of the past, locked away in the wasteland's present.
The Bethesda Underworks in Fallout 3 is a ghoul-infested metro station buried in the Bethesda ruins of the Capital Wasteland. Unlike most stations, there's no obelisk to mark it, making it an eerie radioactive hideaway. The tunnels are partially destroyed, limiting access and adding to the hazardous atmosphere, with radioactive waste barrels strewn about. Expect to be ambushed by a swarm of feral ghouls, and if you're unlucky, a glowing one or even a reaver if you have the Broken Steel add-on. Hidden within this ghastly labyrinth are some treasures, a Tales of a Junktown jerky vendor and Grognak the Barbarian comic, a mini nuke, a stealth boy, and some Nuka-Cola Quantum all tucked away in the storage room. Just remember, once you step into this ghoul den, it's survival of the fittest. But if you're great at sneaking or you wear the ghoul mask, then the ghouls may run out of the station entirely and engage the raiders nearby. Just food for thought on your approach. The Broadway Cinema was a once bustling pre-war movie theater in Seward Square, Washington, D.C., now reduced to a decaying ruin in Fallout 3. The marquee still bears the names of the last films shown, like One Wife Hold the Meatballs and Raz Bastion in the Amazons of Zarn. While the interior is inaccessible, the exterior features a Nuka-Cola vending machine, standing as a relic of the old world on Broadway Boulevard between 4th and 5th Streets. It's kind of weird to see what the people in the Fallout universe were watching before the bombs fell.
The Brotherhood Outcast Shack is a hidden spot in the Capital Wasteland, nestled west of SATCOM array NN03D, down at the base of a hill. This ramshackle metal hut is often occupied by a few Brotherhood outcasts. Inside you'll find shish kebab schematics on the table and a Nuka-Cola Quantum chilling on the roof. It's a neat little hideaway with some useful loot for those who stumble upon it, and a must-known spot for those role-playing as a Brotherhood Outcast member. The C&O Canal in Fallout 3 is an unmarked waterway tucked away in the Georgetown area of the Capital Wasteland. Accessible via a sloped ramp west of the Foggy Bottom station, the canal is flanked by steel arches bearing its name. The waterway is partially blocked by rubble, and you'll often find super mutants patrolling a nearby bridge. On the southern side, amidst the ruins and the occasional centaur, you can scavenge an ammunition box and a first aid kit. The canal also connects to the DCTA Tunnel 014-B Potomac. This spot is a nod to the real-world Chesapeake and Ohio Canal, though in-game it's a shadow of its former self.
Caleb's Tent is a spot in the Capital Wasteland found at the Lincoln Memorial. It only shows up if you complete the Head of State quest siding with the slaves. Nestled among other tents at the memorial's base, Caleb's Tent is situated near Simone's and the maintenance room entrance. Inside, you'll find 4 beds, one of which is usable, a locker, metal boxes, and a couple of Nuka-Cola bottles on the table. It's well equipped for a makeshift home for the lone wanderer. Calverton is an unmarked location nestled in the Capital Wasteland, specifically to the southwest of the Jury Street Metro Station. The area consists of a small ruined town and a nearby chapel. The town features 6 destroyed houses arranged in a 3-way intersection, with 4 houses clustered to the west and 2 to the east. Among these, the northwesternmost house stands out with a very hard locked safe, a trunk, and an unknown bed, while another unknown bed is located in the southernmost house of the 4. To the north of the town lies a church that has become a stronghold for raiders. The church is equipped with several traps, a tripwire that triggers a shotgun at the entrance, and a pressure plate that sets off a grenade trap at the back. Inside, the church contains a podium, some barrels, and a few mattresses, contributing to its makeshift and dangerous interior. Adjacent to the church is a small graveyard enclosed by a broken white picket fence, adding to the somber atmosphere. Beyond the town, the surrounding area includes a rocky canyon to the east and a trailer truck that shows signs of previous occupation. To the southwest, the road is blocked by sandbags and car wrecks, while the southeastern road features a billboard where, if you've completed the Waters of Life quest, you might find Enclave soldiers fighting rad scorpions. Calverton also features some noteworthy loot. In the church, you can find lying congressional style on the speaker's podium, pugilism illustrated in the bathroom, and a mini nuke on a bench. The southwesternmost house holds Nikola Tesla and You on a bookshelf, and the US Army 30 handy flamethrower recipes can be found inside a truck on the east side of town. While the town is mostly empty, it can occasionally attract Talon Company hit squads and leveled creatures. The church in particular can trigger scripted events, such as raiders attacking a Wastelander or additional raider spawns when first entered. Notably, a super mutant camp related to the Unmarked quest searching for Cheryl is situated north of Calverton near the railroad tracks. This place is one of Fallout 3's most substantial locations that doesn't have a map marker, which feels pretty mind-blowing. Maybe they forgot it, or maybe the devs liked the idea of the player stumbling upon a hidden town full of all kinds of mysteries.
Another significant location is Camp RHO, a small, unmarked enclave outpost located in the eastern part of the Capital Wasteland, near Canterbury Commons. Positioned northwest of Vault 108 and southwest of the Robot Repair Center, this camp remains hidden until after completing the Waters of Life quest. The camp is part of an Enclave isolation program and is inhabited by an Enclave officer and 4 automated turrets. The officer carries an experimental RHO ID chip, which makes the turrets friendly toward both the Enclave and the player character, as well as their companions. If you have the Broken Steel DLC installed, you might also encounter an Enclave Hellfire Trooper equipped with a heavy incinerator. Camp RHO is situated at a crossroads and consists of a central container housing a terminal. This terminal contains information about the camp's experimental technology, although some options are disabled. The automated turrets are strategically positioned around the container to provide security. For loot, the Enclave officer holds the experimental RHO ID, which can be a valuable find. It is important to note that Camp RHO can be a significant threat to caravan merchants traveling from Canterbury Commons, as the camp's presence in the same cell means these merchants might be killed without any chance for the player to intervene.
The Capitol Post in Fallout 3 is a small pre-war newspaper office complex located in the Capital Wasteland's Law and Font area. Surrounding the building is a plaza often inhabited by super mutants, with the possibility of encountering super mutant overlords, if the Broken Steel add-on is active. Inside, the building's layout includes a reception area with a rigged terminal, a back room with pre-war newspaper stories stored on terminals, and a basement printing room. Internally, players must navigate through rad roach-infested corridors, with a notable feature being a locked door that can be circumvented via a hole in the wall. The printing room downstairs contains the body of Gibson, alongside a key to his house in Minefield. Gibson here has a whole interesting background and story that we won't get into in this video, but for sure we'll talk about him at some point in the future. The car dealership in Fallout 3 is an unmarked location nestled in the northeastern part of the Fairfax Ruins and northwest of the Red Racer factory. This locale once advertised the luxurious 2077 Corvega car model for nearly $200,000. Showcasing the societal status of owning such a vehicle. Externally, the dealership mirrors the industrial architecture of its surroundings, with a notable water tower adjacent to it. After the quest, the Waters of Life, an Enclave presence sets up under this tower. Inside, the dealership showcases a spacious showroom with 2 Corvega sedans and 2 fleas on display, alongside an administrative area and a raised repair bay. The site holds strategic importance post-quest, with potential encounters involving lone Enclave soldiers or even a 3-way battle royale between the Enclave, Talon Company, and the Brotherhood of Steel. This location can also serve as an ambush point for Talon Company or regulators based on the player's karma. There's also some interesting loot like the US Army 30 handy flamethrower recipes, found in the garage area. The concrete treehouse is situated southeast of Fort Independence, midway between Fairfax Ruins and Andale. This makeshift dwelling is constructed from the remnants of a destroyed building, elevated slightly off the ground with access via a small ramp. Inside, it's pretty basic, featuring only a bed, making it a possible rest spot for the player. The treehouse is inhabited by a scavenger accompanied by their dog, offering a refuge from the wasteland's dangers. However, the area isn't entirely safe. Nearby raiders do pose a threat, yet they are deterred by an automated turret mounted on the ceiling. It's not allied with the scavenger, but strategically positioned to keep threats at bay. You can find a Tales of a Junktown jerky vendor amidst a pile of ruined books near the mattress. The scavenger, who can be either male or female, deals in a limited range of goods with prices that don't vary much between genders. It's an interesting little spot that you might miss out on if you're not looking hard enough. There's a little area called the Corvega Township that is located near the Corvega factory. It's just a small town, if you can even call it that, with a bunch of rundown buildings all centered around a plaza. The loot here isn't noteworthy, at least from what I could find, but it's a unique area where the workers of the Corvega factory probably lived. The Cratered Hamlet is just south of Moresty Train Yard. The area features a few dilapidated houses surrounded by wrecked Chrysalis Corvegas, hinting at a once thriving community that's now reduced to rubble. A significant crater where a large building presumably stood dominates the landscape, filled with barrels of radioactive waste that emit a constant background radiation, making it hazardous. Among the debris, one can find minor loot scattered around, with a house boasting a carport containing additional items and a lawnmower. Near the crater, a wrecked bus with skeletons nearby paints an all too familiar picture of the past. An average locked safe sits in the middle of the radioactive ruin, challenging players to brave the radiation for its contents. Additionally, a Tumblr's Today skillbook can be discovered in the bathtub with one of the ruined houses, offering potential improvement in lockpicking skills. Early Dawn Elementary is the skeletal remains of a pre-war school located in Washington, D.C., just north of the GNR building plaza. The place is of course interesting, but what's even more significant is the historical event tied to it. On October 23, 2077, a field trip from this school to Lamplight Caverns coincided with the Great War. The survivors of this trip eventually founded Little Lamplight, a place I'm sure most of you are familiar with. By the time the player explores Early Dawn Elementary in 2277, the school has become dilapidated and a burnt-out husk, overrun by super mutants. Inside, remnants of its former life are scattered about. School desks, books, chalkboards, and a lone Nuka-Cola vending machine. I don't usually include locations that are tied to the main quests or important quests, because most everyone has been here. But for this one, I thought it was interesting because I'm sure like me, most people just fight their way through without a second thought of what this place actually is or means. They also redid this location in some Content Club stuff in Fallout 4 if you're interested. It pretty much looks exactly the same. The Exploding Scientist Truck is a unique and hazardous unmarked location situated west of Broadcast Tower KB5. This site features a wrecked truck perched on a bridge, above a Mirelurk nest. Nearby landmarks include the overlooked Raider Shack and Raider Wreckage fortifications, suggesting a dangerous neighborhood even before considering the truck itself. Approaching the truck triggers an explosion, often leaving behind a scientist's remains. Inside the truck, one can find a makeshift home with basic amenities, like a table, chair, and a mattress. However, the real intrigue lies in the contents. A laser rifle, ammunition, components for crafting, stim packs, and a mini nuke that might explain the explosion. This setup not only provides valuable resources, but also a narrative cue about the scientist's last moments. Among the loot is a big book of science found on the scientist's remains, and of course the mini nuke found in the truck. Additionally, duck and cover can be discovered slightly to the north, nestled next to a skeleton and car wrecks. What do you think this scientist was doing here, and did he rig this mini nuke up to explode? It's all kind of strange. Similar to the other cinema, we have the Fantastique Cinema found on Vernon Square. You can't enter the location, but it has some more funny movie names listed. Adios Muchachos, P.S. I Hate You, The Nutty Nanny, and Destination Anchorage. The Festive Raider Camp is a relatively small, yet distinctively decorated raider encampment located directly south of Dukov's place. It's encircled by a makeshift scrap fence. This camp serves as both a base of operations and an ambush point for raiders targeting unwary travelers. The entrance is fortified with a sandbag barrier, indicating the defensive nature of the site. Inside, the camp features a unique blend of post-apocalyptic survival and holiday cheer, with a tree adorned with white Christmas lights standing up in the center. Nearby, a red sofa awaits, adding more of that holiday color. The interior setup includes a kitchen, tables with chairs, sleeping mats, and bunk beds, suggesting a communal living arrangement. Notably, between the bunk beds on a small round table, players can find the skill book Duck and Cover. Yes, another Duck and Cover. Why are all these found at these unmarked locations? It's kinda odd. The Flooded Metro Raider Camp is a strategic location southeast of the Flooded Metro, serving as a formidable outpost for raiders. They're usually encountered by players who choose a route that does not involve fast traveling to Rivet City with James, host the Tranquility Lane quest. And this area is pretty perilous. The approach to the camp is marked by numerous cars, presenting a fire hazard when gunfire ignites the vehicles, complicating combat scenarios. The camp's layout offers multiple entry points, with a covered bridge to the northeast guarded by a raider and an automated turret, the latter controlled by an average lock terminal. Alternatively, one can enter through a breach in the southwestern fence. The interior features raiders in various defensive positions, including one on a fortified rubble pile equipped with heavy weaponry. Among the camp's loots are skill books like the Pugilism Illustrated and Tumblr's Today. There's also a rare Nuka-Cola Quantum and various crafting components scattered throughout. Most people probably never run into this place. Another raider encampment, and this time it's the Freeway raider encampment, which is a heavily fortified raider stronghold positioned on a highway just north of Vault 101. This location boasts a significant presence with at least 10 raiders, making it a formidable challenge even for seasoned players, particularly those at lower levels due to its proximity to the starting point of the game. Constructed from various broken down vehicles, the encampment serves as both a defensive position and a base for raider operations. Among the raiders, two stand out with superior weaponry, one equipped with a sniper rifle, likely positioned for long-range engagements, and another with a flamer, ready for close quarters combat. The rest of the raider force wields less advanced gear, yet their numbers and strategic placement on the elevated highway make the encampment a significant obstacle in the wasteland landscape. The Ghoul Outpost in Fallout 3 is a modest but menacing encampment, located southwest of Marigold Station, tucked within a building that serves as a home to 3 hostile ghouls and features a unique element: a gelled super mutant. This location isn't marked on the world map, but it is identifiable on the local map as Outpost, with its entrance marked by double doors on a large building. You'll find it right after passing through a barricade welcoming visitors to Great Edge. Inside, the outpost reveals a cramped square room warmed by a burning barrel, amidst which are scattered desks and debris, kind of creating a claustrophobic atmosphere. Among the clutter, there's notable loot to be found: a mini nuke resting on a shelf in the back room, and a Nuka-Cola Quantum also hidden away. You also find 3 random ghoul wastelanders in here that are always hostile. I have to wonder why they captured a super mutant. Were they running experiments on it for some unknown reason? I don't know. I guess we'll never know. Gold Ribbon Grocers is situated on Jury Street, just northwest of the Jury Street Metro station, presenting itself as an intriguing anomaly within the game's world. The store has been ingeniously transformed into a complex Rube Goldberg machine, utilizing everyday items in an elaborate setup to retrieve loot hidden within the ceiling. This contraption involves a series of interconnected actions triggered by stepping on a pressure plate, leading to a cascade of events that includes falling boxes, a pitching machine, and even a bouquet of frag grenades, all culminating in an explosion that ignites a gas leak. When successfully activated, this chain reaction results in a skeleton and valuable items dropping from a hole in the southwestern ceiling. Among the loot are skillbooks like Nikola Tesla and You and Tumblers Today, alongside a mini nuke, missiles, and a plentiful supply of sugar bombs. However, the process isn't without its risks. The player must carefully manage their positioning to avoid the explosion's aftermath. It's a super cool location, and if I was ranking these places, this one would be near the top to check out. Ink's electrical supply is found adjacent to Jury Street Metro Station, right near the other building we were just talking about. It transforms from an innocuous building into a significant location within the installation of the Broken Steel DLC. Initially just an old abandoned shop, it becomes a raider stronghold, notably marked by the presence of raiders both inside and on its roof, guarding a cache of the Aqua Pura barrels. The building's interior, accessible only post-DLC, features 2 rooms: the main shop area split by a counter with a ladder leading to the roof, and a smaller back room housing an already unlocked safe with a nearby terminal. I guess you could consider this location a Broken Steel DLC unmarked location, but the building is in the base game, so I just decided to add it anyways. The hotel is an unmarked yet significant location on Pennsylvania Avenue, close to notable landmarks like the Penn Avenue Georgetown Metro and the White House, serving as a makeshift outpost for the Brotherhood of Steel. The building itself is largely inaccessible due to the collapsed ceiling, restricting exploration to its entrance and lobby, which still hosts remnants of its past life as a hotel. Upon arriving, players encounter a battle scene where 3 Brotherhood of Steel paladins are engaged with super mutants, offering an immediate opportunity for combat or observation. Inside, the environment is sparse, but it feels safe and serene. Other than that, you can find a Spec Ops training manual. No quests are related to this location, which I find odd. But it's places like this where Bethesda does some of its best work, which is world building. Fallout 3 will be forever undefeated in atmosphere. The Internment Truck in Fallout 3 is an unmarked location on a highway, positioned east of the SATCOM array NW07C, and northwest of the abandoned car fort in the Capital Wasteland. This site serves as a somber reminder of a dark historical footnote, where Chinese Americans were forcibly transported under Executive Order 99066 to concentration camps. The truck itself is a relic of this period, left abandoned with its horrid contents exposed to the elements. Approaching the truck, one first encounters a skeleton outside, hinting at the fate of its occupants. Inside, more skeletons are found alongside remnants of their attempted survival or resistance. 2 first aid boxes, ammunition boxes, and a 10mm pistol. Among these, a holotape titled Internment Orders lies near the entrance, documenting the orders that led to this tragic convoy, offering players a piece of lore around the game's narrative on historical injustices. The Irradiated Outhouse is a uniquely makeshift location, situated south-southwest of the Chased Acres dairy farm. It represents a failed attempt at creating a safe haven, or perhaps just a private space in the post-apocalypse. This outhouse is built using 4 ruined cars as a barricade against wildlife like Yao Guai, though this defense proved ineffective, compounded by the unfortunate choice of location atop an irradiated pool. The layout is both tragic and hilarious. An outhouse beneath the impromptu shelter of old cars, with a bathtub and ammunition boxes placed nearby, possibly as remnants of the occupants' daily life or defensive measures. Inside the bathtub, a Nuka-Cola Quantum awaits. It's worth noting that the area's high radiation levels and its status as a potential spawn point for dangerous creatures like rad scorpions, yaoguai, or even deathclaws, especially at higher player levels, make this spot as perilous as it is peculiar. Whoever lived here either learned a lesson and moved on, or succumbed to Darwinism. The Me Beauregard. Or should I say, the La Mason Beauregard. Because Mason is my name, in case you didn't know. It's an intriguing location set within Georgetown. It's known for its connection to Lagbolt's lover and a hotspot for super mutant activity. The exterior of this once grand building bears the scars of time and battle, with dilapidated walls exposing its interior and its signs still standing proudly despite the decay. The entrance area reveals a stark contrast between the building's former elegance, evidenced by well-preserved decorative chairs, and in its current state of disrepair with damaged wallpaper and shattered floors. Inside, the accessible area is limited due to the heaps of debris blocking off further exploration. This main room, cluttered with remnants of furniture and a landslide of rubble, suggests a life once lived here. Now it's overtaken by nature and decay. The presence of a bar with flickering Nuka-Cola sign, a pool table, and remnants of everyday life juxtaposes the super mutants now inhabiting this space. They're equipped with heavy weaponry, making La Mason Beauregard a dangerous yet historically poignant place in the Capital Wasteland. This location does feature an unmarked quest from the Broken Steel DLC as well, but we'll get into that another time. Lady Frumperton's Fashions. Because nothing screams fashion more than the name Frumperton. It's a quaint clothing store nestled in the DuPont East area, just steps from the DuPont Circle Station escalators and near the entrance to the dry sewer. It's accessible by crossing a bridge and taking a left between 2 buildings. The shop's interior holds forgotten styles and trends, now serving as a backdrop for scavenging or exploration. And behind the desk to the right, as one enters, is the skill book Tales of a Junktown Jerky Vendor, which provides a boost to medicine. It's a super minor locale, but it's places like this that'll sneak past you. Or you'll sneak past it. You know what I mean. I just recently ran into this next location in a different video I was making, and I never knew it existed. It always blows my mind when that happens. Lucky's serves as a modest trading post located southwest of Tenpenny Tower and Warrington Station. The small establishment is inhabited by a scavenger who manages a simple setup: a shop area with shelves and a counter, alongside living quarters featuring a bed and basic bathroom. The exterior of Lucky's is a battleground, often host to skirmishes between factions like Talon Company mercs and regulators, making the area around it a dangerous yet potentially profitable zone for players who might be inadvertently or intentionally engaging in these conflicts. Inside, while most of the items are marked as owned, there are several notable pieces of loot, like the lucky shades on a mannequin, which provide a +1 luck bonus. And then there's also a copy of Pugilism Illustrated behind the counter. Additionally, a Nuka-Cola Quantum is placed on a shelf, tempting those willing to risk their karma for a rare drink. Lucky's not only offers these unique finds, but also contains almost all the materials necessary for crafting custom weaponry, except for a few rare components, making it a strategic stop for players aiming to enhance their gear. Adam Giels, I don't know. Known in the game simply as Shop. It's a quaint pre-war adult bookstore that once catered to the discreet gentleman, and is now nestled in the shadows of the L'Enfant Plaza, just west of the cafe and behind Besnick's barber shop. Its entrance, marked by a blue door, leads into an alleyway often guarded by super mutants, making approach risky due to both the creatures and a booby-trap tripwire linked to an explosive pipe at the entrance. Descending into the shop reveals a small, dimly lit room decorated with mannequins and a few chairs, evoking a sense of debauchery. The centerpiece is the front counter, behind which an average lock safe is embedded into the wall, which holds a stealth boy, a valuable piece of loot for those skilled enough to unlock it. It's a, interesting place. I wonder what kind of books people were purchasing here. The Mirelurk Nesting Hole. What a name, I know. It's an unmarked subterranean location accessed through a sewer grate south of the reflecting pool in the mall. This cave system was once a refuge for humans, now deceased. Likely victims of the area's high radiation or the predatory mirelurks and giant ants that have since claimed it as their territory. The environment is harsh, marked by leaking radioactive water. Navigating the nesting hole involves a path that forks and eventually merges, leading explorers into a central chamber where the mirelurks, including potentially formidable variants like hunters or a king, fiercely guard their nest. Among the hazardous beauty of this locale, there are treasures to be found. A Nuka-Cola Quantum tucked away in a southwestern chamber, and the Chinese Army Special Ops Training Manual, lying in the northwest corner of the main chamber, offering both refreshment and knowledge to those brave or desperate enough to venture into the mirelurk's domain. The Mole Rat racetrack is situated on a raider-controlled section of an old highway, just west-southwest of Greatitch, and it's pretty awesome. Here, raiders have taken the barbaric pastime of racing mole rats, with only 2 of these creatures surviving the brutal sport at the time of the encounter, evidenced by the bloody traces within the makeshift tracks. The setup includes 2 barbed wire tracks down the slope of the highway, with cages for the racers, and it's littered with remnants of raider entertainment, empty liquor bottles, jet, and various debris. The area, while small, is packed with 5 raiders, each engaged with this bizarre spectacle or guarding their turf. They're equipped with a mix of melee or ranged weapons. Players approaching must exercise caution to avoid detection, as both the raiders and the mole rats are hostile. So make sure you're not heard or found, or you won't be able to watch the race. And then you'll hear a pistol shot that signals the start of the race. It's such a weird and funny event to witness, and I think most people never get the chance, because they just run into this place and everything turns hostile. The Monorail Train Wreckage, which is a crash site northeast of Germantown Police HQ. This location features several monorail train cars strewn across the landscape, where raiders have established a makeshift camp. Surrounding the wreckage, they've created a rudimentary living space using scrap metal, shopping carts, and even a bathtub. Among the raider belongings, players can find the skill book Duck and Cover, lying next to the bathtub because of course you can. The Musty Caverns, my old nickname back in high school. It provides a subterranean adventure located east of the Mason-Dixon salvage, marked by an unassuming anthill entrance. This cavern system mirrors the layout of an ant warren, with its networks of narrow, winding tunnels adorned with cave fungi, leading to a central round chamber where the remnants of 2 unfortunate explorers lie. The tunnels are interspread with ant waste piles, which can yield ant nectar and occasional corpses offering basic loot. The caverns teem with life, predominantly giant ants, but it also serves as a hotspot for other creatures like rad scorpions, with the potential for death claws to appear at higher levels, making it a dangerous locale for foraging or exploration. The exterior acts as a respawn point for these creatures, ensuring that those venturing near or into the Musty Caverns are constantly on guard against hostile encounters. The office building, specifically located within Falls Church, once served as the Department of Research Subsidies for the General Accounting Office before the Great War drastically altered its purpose. Now it stands as a battleground where the Brotherhood of Steel clashes with super mutants, marking it as a pivotal location in the ongoing conflict within the capital wasteland. The building retains its pre-war architectural integrity to some extent, with its main entrance on the Washington Boulevard and another facing a children's playground. Inside, the first floor opens up to a series of offices and a restroom, where remnants of this conflict are evident, including a presence of rigged shotgun in the latter, suggesting there were traps laid during the skirmish. The terminal entries of Elise Walton, a government worker, provide a glimpse into the past, capturing the final moments of normalcy before the war. Pirate Pele is an endearing unmarked location situated just south of the irradiated metro and north of the Jefferson Memorial. It's nestled in the tidal basin. This little boats and bait shop, despite its current state, preserves a slice of pre-war Americana, with its offerings of boat rentals, worms, ice cream, and the whimsical touch of talking parrots. The exterior is marked by a distinctive, seemingly luminescent sign, giving the place an eerie glow. The shop's interior is cramped yet filled with character, featuring a drinking fountain, lockers, and behind the counter, remnants of its former business life, including a refrigerator. A touch of intrigue lies beneath this counter, where a hard lock safe and an average lock terminal offer a challenge for loot. The only inhabitant? A lone rad roach, which scurries about this forgotten nook. Pirate Pele not only serves as a nostalgic reminder of simpler times, but also as a subtle homage to the game's lead artist, East Von Pele. Hope I pronounced that right. The Pylon Shack is a unique makeshift dwelling located north of the VAPL 58 power station and west of Arafu, ingeniously constructed around the base of a power pylon, which not only provides structural support but also adds a layer of post-apocalyptic ingenuity to its design. This location, though small, is home to 2 hostile ghouls. Inside, the shack offers more than just a shelter. It's equipped with basic amenities like 2 usable beds, hinting at past habitation beyond mere squatting. The interior also includes valuable items for adventurers, such as ammunition boxes, a first aid box, and weapon crafting components, alongside a very hard locked personal footlocker that promises potentially significant rewards for those skilled enough to open it. Outside, near the pylon footings, one can find a mini nuke and a pre-war book. Additionally, the first Keller family transcript holodisc on a bookshelf provides a narrative link to a large unmarked quest, which I covered in a different video. It's in this video somewhere, I think. I've done so many videos I forget, but I know I covered this. Radiation King is location nestled in Georgetown, right next to a Cup of Joe and the cornucopia fresh groceries, surrounded by potential hostile encounters like super mutants or other factions based on your karma. This store serves as a modest home and trading post for a lone scavenger. Inside, the single room layout accompanied by a bathroom is filled with the remnants of civilization. A ham radio for communication, a jukebox, and 3 radios, creating an almost nostalgic atmosphere. The scavenger offers trade and basic repair services, even though he's not really skilled in repair. Don't ask. This location also holds the potential for player housing if one chooses to oust the current residents. Comforts through music can be played from the jukebox and the radios. 2 are tuned to the Galaxy News radio and 1 to the Enclave radio, which is nice. So here's a free house for you. Well, free-ish. It'll just cost your soul. The Raid Shack in Fallout 3 is a hotspot for raider activity, serving as a base of operations for these marauders. It's positioned east of the Bethesda Ruins, south of the Wheaton Armory, and north of the Chrysalis Building. It's marked by a hostile exterior, where there's 2 raider patrols guarding a yard that includes a trailer stocked with ammunitions and drugs. The immediate surroundings are littered with tables and more ammunition, setting a scene of makeshift fortification and resource hoarding. Entering the shack, one is greeted by the rough interior housing of up to 4 raiders, depending on the player's level. The ground floor consists of a kitchen and a living room, while the upstairs there are bedrooms and a bathroom. Despite its hostile inhabitants, the shack offers various supplies, including weapons, health items, and ammunition scattered throughout. Notably, within this den of raiders, one can find the Tales of a Junktown Jerky vendor upstairs, alongside the unique combat knife Stab Happy, which is carried by a raider in the kitchen. You can also find this utility pole northwest on the map. It's an Easter egg reference for the Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion. The red speedboat represents a small but intriguing point of interest. Stranded in the Potomac River just south of the Jefferson Memorial and east of the riverboat landing. This speedboat, marooned in the middle of the river, has become a small oasis for scavengers or explorers, with items like 2 ammunition boxes and a first aid kit scattered on the deck. Additionally, the speedboat holds a submerged hunting rifle on its floor. Even though it's small and some would argue not worthy of videos like this, I think they're wrong. Some Bethesda devs spent time creating this random boat in the middle of the river and added actual loot to it. It's not just a boat anymore. It's a small piece of someone's work that went out of their way hoping that some player would find and maybe talk about it. And here we are. Rockopolis stands as a reminder of the lost utopias in the Capital Wasteland. Located at its western edge, just north of Girdershade and southeast of the Yaogwai tunnels. It was once a hidden subterranean village and kingdom. Rockopolis thrived in secrecy, until its location was unwittingly betrayed by its former residents, Herbert Dashwood and Argyle, leading to its downfall at the hands of slavers in the 2250s. The exterior of Rockopolis is marked by a unique boulder entrance, draped in festive decor, which glows at night, serving as a beacon for those in the know. Despite its festive appearance, the entrance leads to a now desolate interior, where once was a thriving community. Inside, the only accessible area is a small cave segment. The rest was sealed off by fallen rocks, symbolizing the village entombment. Here lies the corpse of Argyle, evidence to the tragic fate of the village inhabitants. Loot includes the holotape "Rollings Were Done" on a desk near a ladder, hinting at external conflicts and foreshadowing future events in the Fallout 3 DLC. More significantly, next to Argyle's body rests the unarmed bobblehead. This place is connected to an unmarked quest given by Herbert Dashwood in Tenpenny Towers. He has a whole story about this place and about Argyle. You guys should really check this one out. The Scavenger Ruins is situated just north of the Charnel House. This place is another home for another lone scavenger. Scavenger here can engage in trade or perform repairs, providing a rare service, supposedly, in the wasteland. However, your interactions are governed by a sense of personal property. While certain items like pre-war books and Nuka-Cola Quantum can be taken without repercussions, accessing other personal belongings like their footlocker or food is considered theft. The exterior of the ruins is cautiously fortified with frag mines, suggesting the scavenger's awareness of the wasteland's dangers. Inside, the scavenger's living area is modestly furnished with notable items including the aforementioned Nuka-Cola Quantum in a milk crate by one of the mattresses and 2 pre-war books on a nearby table. The Scavenger Shack is a modest dwelling perched on a hill overlooking the Potomac River, east of Arafu. This location, while small, is fraught with danger due to the nearby mirelurks that often drive its human inhabitant, another scavenger, accompanied by their dog, to flee or meet an unfortunate end. Inside the shack, basic amenities like a bed, tables, and a fridge lacking a door offer shelter and storage for essentials like mines and grenades. The Scavenger's Bridge is located north of the Red Racer factory, and serves as another home and trading post for a scavenger and their dogs. It's set on a bridge spanning the highway with a blue truck below, which was once hauling bathroom fixtures. Surrounded by raider territory, including the infamous Mole Rat racetrack, the spot provides a precarious sanctuary where the scavenger offers trade, with their shelter containing valuable skill books like the Chinese Army Spec Ops Manual, Duck and Cover, and Grognak the Barbarian, plus 5 motorcycle handbrakes, all marked as owned, unfortunately. Or maybe fortunate considering your certain circumstances. Last of the scavenger locations. The Scavenger's Jetty is an isolated yet resourceful abode south of Willem's Wharf and west of the Anchorage Memorial, where a dock serves as a home to a scavenger, who is unofficially dubbed as the Potomac Fisherman. This inventive shelter is created from an upturned boat propped against a tree, offering a bed and a footlocker for basic living needs. Interestingly, the scavenger has unique behaviors like sitting on the docks, an action that's pretty unique to his NPC, which emphasizes their distinct existence. Hopefully you get a glimpse of him before he's killed by some random encounter. Shacktown is located north of Jalbert Brothers Waste Disposal. This settlement, now abandoned to the ravages of time and radiation, once housed a community that has since turned into hostile ghouls, reflecting the harsh reality of life in the capital wasteland's most irradiated areas. The layout of Shacktown is a desolate assembly of rusted shacks and old vehicles, arranged in a diamond formation with additional makeshift shelters. The area's southern boundary is a steep cliff, hinting at its past as possibly a mine or a makeshift fallout shelter, now inaccessible or forgotten. The inhabitants, a group of 6 ghouls, are aggressive, with one lurking in the northern shack. Among the ruins, evidence of survival is scattered. There's a shack with human skeletons behind a makeshift barricade and another with a morbid scene of a skeleton in a bathtub, with a toaster between its legs. Despite its desolation, Shacktown holds several pieces of notable loot, including skill books, a stealth boy, and even a mini nuke, suggesting past inhabitants or scavengers who left behind traces of their existence or ambitions. Also, another cool little fact, the Fallout 3 official game guide refers to this place as the Wasteland Gypsy Village. Not sure why, and I'm not sure if that would have even been a good idea. Probably best it's not canon. The shelter offers a glimpse into the capital wasteland's bizarre underbelly, located south of the Chrysler's building and east of the Farragut West Metro Station. This location's entrance is discreetly tucked beneath an intact bridge, surrounded by super mutants, Enclave encounters, and Talon Company mercenaries. Upon entering the shelter, one is immediately struck by a strange array of items. A makeshift tower with chess pieces, a Nuka-Cola bottle, and a tin can balanced precariously, as if untouched by time or chaos. The interior suggests it once served as a lab or a medical post, now left in disarray. The presence of a feral ghoul among medical effigies, a skeletal figure surrounded by plungers, and a mannequin adorned with the same, paints a picture of the post-apocalyptic madness or perhaps a dark attempt at humor. Also in this oddity, you'll find a garden gnome, resembling the Statue of Liberty, embedded with medical supplies. The shelter's layout, combined with the bizarre contents, including an array of plungers, a mini nuke outside, and eerie decorations, like a plunger man on a gurney, makes it a memorable sight you probably won't forget. It's super odd, and it seems like a place where devs could just create madness. Very cool to see. The Sniper Shack is a notably isolated location perched on a cliff west of Rockbreaker's Last Gas, presenting a secluded vantage point in the capital wasteland. Inside, it's a modest setup with survival essentials like a bed, locker, ammunition boxes, and kitchen appliances, alongside a workbench, suggesting its use as a hideout or a sniper nest. The most unique feature of this shack is the presence of 2 named rad roaches, Fluffy and Jitters, both contained in a cage. These roaches, if killed, will respawn, making them a recurring point of interest or an annoyance for visitors. Externally, the Sniper Shack is surrounded by an environment that reflects the wasteland's volatility. Post the quest, The Waters of Life, the area might see enclave activity, with a vertibird deployment nearby, adding to the strategic importance of this overlook. The presence of super mutants by a nearby pond further emphasizes the constant threat that permeates the capital wasteland. You can also find a unique sniper rifle in this location called the Victory Rifle, which is in a very hard lock to locker. But if you have dog meat, he can retrieve it for you by bypassing the lock. Just a thought. The Super Mutant Bunker serves as a central hub for Super Mutant activity, strategically situated beneath the mall, between 2 trenches. This location not only showcases the Super Mutants' territorial dominance east of the Washington Monument, but also hints at a past conflict or occupation by the Brotherhood of Steel, evidenced by the presence of their dead and equipment. This bunker suggests a history of struggle over this strategic position. The bunker's design includes 2 booby-trapped entries, one to the east of the bottom of the pit and another to the west hidden behind sandbags, emphasizing the Super Mutants' defensive tactics. These traps indicate a wariness of intrusion, whether from Wastelanders or other factions like the Brotherhood. Inside, the bunker holds resources and possibly information about Super Mutant operations, or their broader plans in the capital wasteland, making it a point of interest for those daring or desperate enough to explore. The layout with its defensive measures paints a picture of a fortified holdout, central to the Super Mutants' control in the area. Also, you can of course find a duck and cover book here. Tacoma Motor Service and Repair is a seemingly inconsequential garage in the Tacoma Park area, notable primarily for its dangerous inhabitant, a super mutant behemoth roaming the parking lot, making the approach, well, dangerous to say the least. Despite its hazardous exterior, the garage itself contains a Nuka-Cola vending machine by its blue entrance, and inside lies the US Army 30 handy flamethrower recipe skill book on a desk. Is that worth killing a behemoth? You tell me. The Talon Company camp serves as a forward operating base for the Talon Company mercenaries, situated southwest of the Sewer way station and northwest of Grayditch. This location, embedded in an old office building, is identified by its distinctive metal staircase on the east side, often surrounded by the reminder of past conflicts in the form of scattered corpses. The building's layout is straightforward yet tactically advantageous for its inhabitants. A narrow hallway leads to a common area, effectively serving as a choke point against intruders. From here, access branches out to a storeroom and control room dormitory, each manned by a Talon Company mercenary, showcasing their readiness for defense or ambush. The building's upper levels are blocked off, likely due to the structural damage, restricting movement and adding to the camp's fortified feel. Scattered loot within offers little beyond survival necessities, reflecting the mercenaries' focus on maintaining operational readiness rather than accumulating wealth. I wish once you cleared out this place, the Talons would stop spawning and attacking, but that's unfortunately not the case. The Roach King's throne is a weird location northeast of Minefield, where the Roach King presides over a court of his 6 rad roaches. This bizarre monarchy is centered around a Red Rocket playground set, which is repurposed into a throne with a humble wooden chair at its heart, encircled by dark plastic mats and crowned with a clock. You'll find a hidden mini nuke within the Red Rocket and some other random loot. The Roach King himself is always hostile. I made a whole video on the lore behind this guy because he was so random and interesting. He literally speaks to the roaches. The Wastelander Campsite is a discreet hideaway at the edge of the map, southwest of the Yaoguai tunnels and west of Rockopolis, blending seamlessly into the rugged landscape with cliffs enveloping it on 3 sides. The campsite features a camouflage tent where 2 Wastelanders enjoy a moment of peace by a campfire, tuned in to a radio static whispers. Nearby, a rock spire hosts a sniper's nest equipped with a chair, rifle, and ammunition, offering a strategic overlook of the surrounding area. The tent, though basic, provides shelter with a bed, medical supplies, and minor loot like a plasma grenade hidden in a pot, suggesting the inhabitants' readiness for both defense and survival. Despite its isolation, this campsite does serve as a potential player housing spot, without a map marker. And strangely enough, you can kill one of the Wastelanders to take their spot and the other won't become hostile. So then you also get a roommate. They must hate each other or something. The Wastelander Lake Hideout is a secluded campsite situated on the northern reaches of the capital wasteland, cleverly hidden behind a radioactive lake west-northwest of Oasis. This location features the remains of diverse wasteland inhabitants, a scientist in a radiation suit, a wastelander, and a drowned raider. The hideout, accessible by navigating around the lake and behind a dilapidated dump truck, offers shelter with a bed, essential supplies like Radaway, various chems, and a safe containing caps and more chems, suggesting it once served as a strategic retreat or perhaps an ill-fated experiment station. You can then find a copy of the DC Journal of Internal Medicine on a bedside table. Wilys Grocher is a modest convenience store located east of Tenpenny Tower, serving as a minor point of interest for those exploring the region. Outside, it's marked by a red rocket gas pump and some abandoned cars. The store itself, although small from the outside, reveals a surprisingly spacious interior filled with shelves, a counter, and a safe behind it, which is now overrun by 4 rad roaches. Inside, 2 notable items stand out: tales of a Junktown jerky vendor near the right register, and tumblers today found just south of the store in a nearby ruined building. It's not the most amazing location to end the video on, but it kind of encapsulates the entire video. All these places are just random locations that fill out the world and make it feel more alive. Make sure you're subbed, because we have a lot more videos like this one on the way, including all the DLCs in the mainline games and Fallout 76, which is coming out here soon shortly. Thank you guys for watching. I really do appreciate it. Remember, enjoyed time is never wasted time, and I'll see you in the next.